Now, Hero has been making a lot of noise recently. It started with the partnership with Harley Davidson and the launch of the X440, a good looking motorcycle. Now, that was followed up by the launch of the Hero Extreme 160R 4V, another good looking motorcycle. But as I live and breathe, the iconic Karizma brand has been revived by the company with a new name, the Karizma XMR. But with the revival, there are new questions that come with it. So is it better looking than the last iteration? How does it perform? And I'm going to be trying to find the answers to those questions. Before we start the video, I'm going to be asking you to subscribe to the Park Plus channel, click the bell icon to stay notified to all the videos that we do. But since this is a very good looking motorcycle, we are also going to start with how it looks. Let's start with the looks of the bike, the new Karizma XMR. Now, in my opinion, I think it's a very beautiful looking motorcycle, quite sporty, strong lines and creases all over the body panels and very aggressive design. But the question here is, how much is it better than the ZMR that we had on the roads a while back? Now, to start with, I think the ZMR had more protruding panels and it gave a big bike look. Here, the departure is quite dominating that, the company has gone with a very sleek design, a very slim design. And the question here is that you let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the new design of the Karizma XMR?
Now the bike is 2068 mm long, 760 mm wide, 1110 mm tall and has a wheelbase of 1351 mm. The panel on the fuel tank and the rear section has been designed to give a sporty look with neat cuts and gaps. The paint quality and fit and finish are adequate. The steel trellis frame with sporty fairing and the stubby exhaust unit adds to the road presence of the bike.
Okay, now let's take a closer look at the bike. To start with the front face, it has projector headlamps which is flanked by X-shaped DRLs. Again, comes from the name itself, Karizma XMR. Right beneath it, we have 17-inch wheels which come shod with MRF tires. The braking duties here are done by 300mm disc up front and a 230mm disc at the rear. It gets dual channel ABS, a first. Now, up we go, we have stock mirrors which is mounted on the fairing itself. And here we have clip-on handlebars, quite sexy, neat looking clip-on handlebars. And the windscreen here, again a first, is adjustable. So you just have to press this button and you just have to pull it up or push it down. And you have 2 steps of adjustability. That's it. Now here we have a tank and it's beautifully sculpted. It's a 11-liter tank. And it has plastic panels over it which gives the contrasting yellow and black look. And here we have the split seat setup. The padding is actually quite nice. The seat height of this bike is 810 mm and the pillion seat, of course it's a small unit and you have sturdy grab rails right over here and then the H-shaped LED tail light over here. The exhaust unit is a stubby one. It looks nice. Now, the suspension on this bike, it is done by a monoshock at the rear. It's a gas-charged monoshock, 6-step adjustability and a conventional telescopic unit at the front. Now, that is the only qualm that I have with the bike in terms of looks and the kind of kit it offers, that it should have come with an upside-down fork, which is also seen on the Hero Extreme 160R 4V. Now, the instrument cluster on the Karizma XMR, it's a digital unit, it's an all-digital unit, it's an LCD instrument cluster and the readabouts are also fine. When it comes to the switchgear, I think the quality of the switchgear is also fine and you have a small USB port right here on the clip-on handlebar which is very convenient and many bikes have it placed in places which is not convenient, it can become a hindrance, but on the XMR it is very well placed. And again, I mentioned the seat height, it is 810 mm and I am 5 feet 9 inches and this is how I look on the bike. So right now, I'm not tiptoeing, but then again, this is on a slant position. There is a slight bend to the handlebar, which is again, that's how the bike has been designed. It's a sporty design. So you have to commit a little, but below my waist, the foot pegs are placed very neutrally. It's a very balanced position. So overall, this is the ergonomics of the bike.
The instrument cluster has crisp readabouts and it is not cluttered. You get all the basic info like speed, rev counter, distance to empty, time, engine temperature to name a few. The seat cushioning is on the firmer side for the pillion and for the rider. Long rides could become uncomfortable.
And with that out of the way, we're going to be heading to the heart of the matter, which is the performance of the new Karizma XMR. Let's talk about the heart of the matter. The new Hero Karizma XMR is powered by a 210cc single-cylinder liquid-cooled engine that makes 25.15 bhp of power at 9,250 rpm and 20.4 Nm of peak torque at 7,250 rpm. Now, since these power figures are at the top end of the rev band, you have to work up the gearbox, you have to work up the accelerator to get to that sweet spot. Now, when it comes to the sweet spot of the engine, 60 to 70 km per hour, that is the sweet spot of the engine. That is where the engine is the most comfortable in. It can do that speed all day long without any problem.
Some vibrations do seep into the foot pegs and the handlebars when you are pushing past 6000 rpm mark, but it is not a deal breaker.
And when it comes to the acceleration of the bike, now it is very linear, and that is where the bottom end of the bike may leave you wanting for a little more power because it's too progressive. And once past the 6000 rpm, that is where the engine is alive and it's in its element. And once the triple digit speed is achieved and once you pass that mark, that is where the engine will leave a grin on your face while you are riding it. The ride quality of the Hero Karizma XMR is pretty much sorted. To start with, you have a semi-neutral stance. So at an 810mm seat height, this is how you sit on the bike. So your foot pegs below your hip has been placed very neutrally, and when you sit on it, there is slight lean towards the clip-on handlebars. And this is a semi-neutral stance which is okay for your ambling around town and occasional highway jaunts. The suspension duties are done by a 37mm telescopic fork up front and a 6-step gas charge adjustable monoshock at the rear. Now the suspension is neutral, you don't have to avoid all those minor undulations on the road, and the ground clearance on the bike is 160mm. Now I have done some pretty serious off-roading to find a good frame for my camera person, and this bike is yet to scrape its belly. When it comes to the braking duties, the braking setup is done by a 300mm disc up front and a 230mm disc at the rear, and you also get dual channel ABS. I have no complaints with the brakes, they do a good job of shedding speed should the need arise.
The adjustable windscreen is more about form than function, but it is very effective when your chest is on the tank and you are in a very committed riding position.
At triple digit speeds, the bike is very stable, it doesn't startle you, and it's only 163.5 kilos, which means it's very nimble to handle. You can chuck it around corners, you can maneuver through traffic very easily, and that makes it a very fun bike to ride and very easy to live with.
The Hero Karizma XMR locks horns with the likes of the Bajaj Pulsar RS200, Suzuki Gixxer SF250, Yamaha R15 V4 and the KTM RC200 to name a few. And how it fares against its competition, now that is a story for another day.
Let's try to sum it up. The Hero Karizma XMR has a nice top end. The bottom end may leave you wanting for a little more, and it does not have USB forks up front. But then what do you get? For an introductory price of Rs 1.73 lakhs ex-showroom, you get Bluetooth, you get LCD instrument cluster, you get turn-by-turn navigation and a 210cc liquid-cooled engine that makes 25.15 bhp of power and 20.4 Nm of peak torque, and an overall gorgeous-looking motorbike. And in my books, that's a job well done on the revival of an iconic brand like this. I'll see you on the next one.